Today, I'll be reading from the Best of Outdoor Life, 100 Years of Classic Stories from Outdoor Life's Finest Writers. The story today is The Gentle Art of Conservation, written by Comancho. Within the last years, a very few years too, some far-sighted men, notable Jas J. Hill of the Great Northern Railway, have looked into the future and seen impending calamity in the wasteful, reckless way that America handles her natural resources. 200 years ago, America was one of the richest, best adapted countries in all the world for the welfare and enjoyment of millions of people, for it had everything ready at the hand that humanity needed. All that was necessary was to use them intelligently. Let us ask ourselves for an accounting of our stewardship of these 200 years. What have we done with our country and its natural resources? First off, we wiped out the buffalo, millions of them, huge animals that roamed a half-desert that we have not improved much over its natural conditions. We killed off the finest herd of free, wild beef that humanity has any knowledge of, and we got nothing out of it but hides and a few bags of unneeded fertilizer. The herd is gone. The herd that I saw blacken the prairie for miles and miles, that shook the ground with its tread, that turned miles of dry desert into a beef-producing country, that made the sweetest, juiciest, best beef in all the world, as I know, for I helped to eat that herd. The old buffalo range today is semi-desert country that the government is spending millions on to try to remake into an agricultural country, to half-soul it, so to speak, and they are succeeding to some extent. It would have been a better thing and a better investment if the government had reserved eastern Montana, the Dakotas, Wyoming, western Nebraska and Kansas, and eastern Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and West Texas for a buffalo range, and raised the buffalo for beef, each year only killing the increase of the herds, as the Indians did before the white men came. All of the country contains much wasteland, and the buffalo waxed fat on what is now and always will be more or less useless country. Therefore, as a business proposition, the buffalo herds would have produced more valuable than the land will under present conditions, or those to come. But we thoughtlessly killed off the herd, so that now we have to spend money to make the country over into a habitable land. Then there is the Great North Woods, the vast pineries that covered the country bordering the Great Lakes, a forest that was supposed to be inexhaustible. That, too, is gone, as utterly wiped out as though it had never existed. The same story covers the woods of Maine, the Pennsylvania hemlock forests, and today is the beginning of the end of the yellow pine forests of the South, with the great Pacific coast forests already going the same way before the thaw. As I write this, I can look out of my window and see 5 forest fires right here on Pugnett Sound. Fires that are eating up acres of valuable timber. That is wicked carelessness, for a tree once burned is gone, uselessly, for all time, and every man should remember that never a tree grew that was not made in the leaf, a slow, slow process that means 100 or 500 years to grow one single tree, and the civilization of today demands thousands of trees every day. Look at the very soil itself, plowed on side hills and not looked after, so that millions of tons of the finest surface soil in America goes into the Mississippi, Missouri, and Ohio rivers and their branches every year to fill the streams, spoil the water, and drift south, where it finally blocks the river, until it has to be dredged and the surplus goes out to sea, where it is slowly filling up the Gulf of Mexico. Many other resources are going just as fast, just as little heated, and most of the tremendous waste is due to the carelessness of the American people, who have a fixed habit of taking only the cream and leaving the milk as worthless. It is about time we planted 2 trees for every one we cut down. It is time we put in catch basins to hold the flood silt from going into the Gulf. It is time we plowed crosswise across the face of a hill rather than have furrows running up and down to wash into gullies when the rain has dug away the soil. We can't bring back the buffalo, but we can save the terrible waste of natural resources from now on, and we can teach our children to waste nothing of the bountiful store of resources that the Creator put here and intended us to use. It is important to educate the children in these matters, as it is to save the waste ourselves. Therefore, if you have a son, show him and teach him why he should plant 2 trees when he cuts down 1, for it is a good investment for the world. It means that waste should stop, and the savings should be enforced. And if it is properly done, your son's great-grandson will have a wilderness where he may shoot and fish. Otherwise, he must attend pink teas and ladies' day for the rest of his life. Written by L. Comancho.